Okay, so you're curious about unlocking your potential,
Mm-hmm.
and you sent over Carol Dweck's Mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Buckle up, because we're diving deep into the core concepts of the growth mindset
Okay.
and how this stuff can seriously impact your life.
Yeah.
Think of this deep dive as your cheat sheet to understanding why you might be stuck and what you can do about it.
It's like giving your brain an upgrade.
Right. Dweck basically lays out two ways your mind can work: fixed and growth.
Right.
Have you ever felt like, I'm just not a math person, or I'm bad at relationships? It's just who I am.
Yeah.
That's the fixed mindset talking.
Yeah.
It's the belief that your intelligence, your talents, your personality, they're all set in stone.
And that belief can be a trap. It leads to this constant pressure to prove yourself, to avoid situations where you might fail, because if you fail, it means you're not naturally good enough. Ouch.
It's like you're constantly trying to prove your worth instead of, actually growing.
Mm-hmm.
So how does the growth mindset change things?
Think of it this way. A growth mindset is like having a superpower that lets you level up your abilities. You believe that you can always get smarter, more talented, even change your personality for the better.
I love that. So it's not about pretending you're good at everything already.
Right.
It's about knowing that you can become good at things that matter to you.
Exactly.
It reminds me of something Dweck says about Darwin and Tolstoy.
Yeah.
They're considered geniuses now, but they were seen as pretty ordinary kids.
And that's the thing about potential. It unfolds over time. It's not about instant success. It's about the journey of getting better.
So are you saying it's okay to not be amazing at something right away?
Yeah.
Where does this magical yet thing come in?
Exactly. Yet is a tiny word with huge power. I can't do this yet. Changes everything.
Wow.
It's the difference between feeling defeated and feeling motivated to learn and grow.
Okay, that's really resonating with me. It's like giving yourself permission to be a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
But what about people who are naturally gifted?
Right.
Do they even need this growth mindset stuff?
That's where it gets really interesting. See, someone with a fixed mindset, even if they're naturally talented, might coast on their talent, seeing effort as something for people who lack natural ability.
So they'd rather look naturally gifted than actually push themselves and potentially, become even more amazing.
Exactly. Effort becomes threatening because it might expose their flaws. Dweck tells this story about this crazy talented violinist, Nadja Salerno Sonnenberg, who was terrified of really pushing herself.
Why would someone so talented be afraid of trying their hardest?
Because with a fixed mindset, if she tried her best and wasn't perfect, it would mean she wasn't good enough. It's about protecting their ego.
That is so relatable.
Yeah.
It's that fear of not being enough that can stop us from going all in on something.
Yeah.
But you're saying a growth mindset flips that.
Totally. With a growth mindset, effort is like rocket fuel. It propels you towards mastery. It's not just about the destination. It's about how the journey transforms you along the way. Remember Seabiscuit, the horse everyone gave up on.
And then he became this incredible champion.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a natural.
Right. Seabiscuit's story embodies the growth mindset. It's about grit and determination, the guts to keep pushing even when the odds are stacked against you. That's the kind of transformation we're talking about. And this idea of effort as transformation, it's not just about learning a skill, it's about life.
Right.
Think about how different people approach their relationships.
Okay, how does a growth mindset play out in dating, friendships, all that?
Well, with a fixed mindset, you might be looking for that perfect partner, someone who completes you without you having to do any work.
Oh, the fairy tale fantasy.
Yeah.
Find the one and live happily ever after.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Disagreements and differences are going to happen.
Right.
You're two different people, right?
Yeah.
In a fixed mindset, those differences become threats.
Like, if we don't agree on everything, it means we're not meant to be.
Exactly. Instead of seeing those differences as opportunities for growth, they become battlegrounds. You end up blaming each other for not being what you need. Dweck talks about this couple, Brenda and Jack. Brenda loved telling long stories, and Jack, well-meaning but a bit impatient, would get bored.
I know a few couples like that. Sometimes the stories do go on a bit.
Right. But instead of seeing this as a chance to understand each other better, Brenda could learn to be more concise. Jack could work on his listening car. They fell into this trap of blaming each other. Brenda felt unheard. Jack felt trapped. Total fixed mindset spiral.
So they're stuck in this negative feedback loop, each person's fixed mindset making the situation worse. How does a growth mindset couple approach things differently?
with curiosity. Instead of assuming you're wrong for not loving my stories, a growth mindset says, okay, this is important to you. Let's figure out how to make this work for both of us. Dweck shares a great story about Laura and James. Laura was used to getting her own way, a bit self-centered, but James, he didn't run for the hills.
He had that growth mindset, seeing her flaws not as deal breakers, but as something they could work on together.
Exactly. James's support and patience actually helped Laura grow and become less self-centered. They were on the same team, working towards a relationship that made them both better versions of themselves.
Wow, that's really powerful. It makes you think about the potential for growth, not just in romantic relationships, but in friendships, families, even at work.
Absolutely. Imagine a workplace where feedback isn't something to fear, but a gift that helps you improve. A workplace where everyone's encouraged to grow, not just climb the ladder.
Okay, I love that vision. But how do we actually create that kind of growth mindset environment? Whether you're a manager, a parent, or just someone who wants to bring out the best in yourself and the people around you, what can we actually do?
Well, it starts with you. You've got to walk the walk, model that growth mindset in your own life, be open to feedback, admit when you're wrong, and be genuinely curious about learning new things. People pick up on that, especially kids.
So lead by example. Don't just talk the talk, walk the walk. What else? How do you create that culture of learning and development you mentioned?
Give people the freedom to make mistakes. Encourage them to try new things, to experiment. And when they mess up, which they will, help them see it not as a failure, but as a stepping stone to success.
So instead of punishment, it's about learning from those experiences. Give us some concrete examples. What could that look like at work or at home with kids?
In the workplace, maybe you encourage people to take on new projects, even if they're a little out of their comfort zone. Maybe you start a mentorship program or create opportunities for people to share what they're learning.
I love that. Create a culture of learning from each other instead of competing all the time.
Exactly. And at home with kids, it's about praising their effort and the strategies they use, not just their talent. Instead of, you're so smart, try, wow, you really stuck with that tough problem. What a great strategy you figured out.
So it's about focusing on the process, the hard work, not just the outcome. This reminds me of those chess prodigies, the Polgar sisters. Their dad believed success was 99% hard work and raised them with a growth mindset.
And they ended up dominating the chess world. It really shows that even in fields where natural talent is praised, hard work and a growth mindset can be even more powerful.
It's not about denying natural ability, but saying, hey, everyone has the potential to grow and develop their skills. So how do we apply that to things like negative labels? We've all got them, those limiting beliefs about ourselves.
Right, and those labels can really hold us back.
Yeah.
But with a growth mindset, instead of saying, I'm just not a math person, you can say, math is challenging for me, so I need to find the right strategies and put in the effort. It's about focusing on what you can control, not the label.
So instead of letting that label define you, you're saying, okay, that's interesting information, but it doesn't have to dictate my future. It makes me think of Julie Lynch, this amazing tech student Dweck mentions. She was killing it until a teacher told her she wasn't cut out for programming.
And sadly, she started to believe it. Her interest faded. It's a classic example of how powerful and damaging labels can be. But imagine if she'd had a growth mindset. She could have taken that feedback and used it to fuel her growth instead of letting it extinguish her passion.
It's about reclaiming your power and saying, okay, that's your opinion, but I get to decide what I'm capable of. This stuff is so important, isn't it? Creating that space where people feel safe to learn and grow.
Yeah, it really is
Yeah.
about creating that psychological safety net, isn't it? Where
Yeah.
you know it's okay to stumble as long as you get back up and keep learning.
Right.
Speaking of stumbling,
Yeah.
what about those times when we catch ourselves slipping back into old fixed mindset habits?
It happens to everyone.
All the time.
What do you do then? What do you
Yeah.
do in those moments?
The key is to recognize those moments without judgment. Pay attention to your self-talk.
Okay.
If you hear, I'm so stupid, or I'll never be good at this,
Yeah.
that's your cue to hit pause.
So it's like that little red flag popping up.
Yes.
Warning. Fixed mindset alert.
Exactly.
What do you do then?
Talk back to that voice. Challenge those negative thoughts. Instead of, I'm so stupid, try, okay, I messed up. What can I learn from this?
Ooh, I like that.
Remember, you're in charge of the story you tell yourself.
It's about being your own cheerleader.
Yes.
But like the honest kind who pushes you to grow.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of your crew.
Oh, yeah.
Surround yourself with people who support your growth mindset.
That's huge.
Find mentors, join groups, or Just hang out with friends who inspire you to be your best self.
It's like having a team of hype people for your brain.
Yes.
People who get it, who get you, and who challenge you to keep leveling up.
And when you hit those milestones, those little wins on your journey, celebrate them. Acknowledge the progress no matter how small.
Love that. Celebrate the effort, the strategies, the little victories along the way.
Yes.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. We've talked fixed versus growth, the power of yet, how to create that growth mindset environment. Anything else we need to hit before we wrap up?
There's one analogy Dweck doesn't use that I find super helpful.
Okay.
Think of your brain like a muscle.
Okay. I like where this is going.
We all know muscles get stronger when we challenge them, right? Push them to their limits.
Right.
Our brains are the same way. If you want to get smarter, more creative, more resilient, you've got to challenge yourself. Give your brain a workout.
So instead of avoiding tight stuff, we should see it as an opportunity to level up our mental game.
Exactly. And just like with physical training, consistency is key.
Right.
You wouldn't go to the gym once and expect to be ripped, right?
Yeah.
It's about building those mental muscles over time, day after day.
This whole brain as a muscle thing is really resonating with me. It makes those setbacks seem less daunting, you know?
Yeah.
It's all part of the training process.
That's the idea. And remember, it's like your muscles need rest after a good workout. So does your brain.
Oh, that's a good point.
Build in time for reflection, for relaxation, for letting things sink in.
So prioritize sleep mindfulness, disconnecting from the digital world once in a while. Give your brain the space it needs to process and grow.
Exactly. It's about taking a holistic approach to your mental fitness. Nourish your brain with challenging ideas, give it time to recover, and most importantly, believe in its ability to grow and change.
This has been such an insightful deep dive.
It
I've unpacked so much about the growth mindset, from understanding the basics to practical strategies for applying it to everyday life.
It's so important.
It is.
Everything we do.
It is, yeah. Thanks so much for breaking it all down for us.
My pleasure. Remember, keep challenging yourself, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of your amazing, adaptable brain. And to you listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into mindset. We hope you found it insightful and empowering. Now go out there and embrace the journey of growth.